All right, guys, welcome back to Dave's Gaming. We got a little bit different here. I'm going to talk about SmackDown a little bit on my thoughts on Kofi Kingston. But first, I'm going to say I apologize for having not put up a video in a while because me and my family, we've all been sick for a while. I was sick for about 2 weeks, and then I've just not had time to put up a video. But I'm going to start putting some more videos up pretty soon, so keep a watch out for that. And I'm going to start doing a little different because undoubtedly y'all like some of my wrestling figure videos. So I'm going to show off some wrestlers that I haven't. They ain't brand, they ain't new or nothing, but ones y'all have never seen and y'all might like. So here we go with the news on Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston's been in WWE for like 12 years, and the man has he's had his ups, he's had his downs, but in the long run, Kofi Kingston's been a pretty good wrestler, and he's always done his job and everything. And for them, what they done, if you didn't watch SmackDown last night, they pretty much replaced Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston at Elimination Chamber, if you didn't see it, Kofi Kingston had one of the best matches he had ever had in within the 12 years he's been there. He about beat Daniel Bryan, and I was very surprised how good he actually done, because I like Kofi Kingston, but Kofi Kingston, with all the bigger names in the Elimination Chamber, Kofi was one of them I figured would get pinned for pinned first, and that's just, I've watched wrestling a lot of years, and I just know how everything works, and I just figured they would let him be one of the first ones, because all he really was a filler anyway. I mean, because of Mustafa Ali, or I think is his name, he ended up getting hurt, so they ended up having to replace him with Kofi. But and then I think the next Tuesday, they let him go against Daniel Bryan, Kofi Kingston, for a non-title match, and he beat Daniel Bryan. So I mean, and then I think in that same night, that's when Shane McMahon come out and announced that he would be facing him. Kofi Kingston would be facing Daniel Bryan at the Fastlane, which would make it a great match. I mean, the match they had before, if they do anything like they had with the Elimination Chamber, this is going to be one heck of a match. And but right when they was getting ready to sign a contract last night, Vince McMahon comes out. I'm sorry, guys. Vince McMahon comes out. Vince McMahon announces that he don't deserve it. That, well, not really that he didn't deserve it. That he was more of, he has to have the most highest caliber matches. And I can see, where he's coming from a little bit, but I also can't see, as good as Kofi Kingston had done in as many years as he's put into the WWE. He could have easily went to TNA and done just as good. But this man, I mean, Kofi done so good. I mean, and the fans, this is what the fans want. And if y'all remember back when all three of the guys, well, all four of the McMahons, well, Triple H included, said that the fans was going to be over what kind of matches we have. Well, if the fans is over what kind of matches we have, the Kofi Kingston against Daniel Bryan would be happening. But Vince McMahon, again, is pulling his weight around and switching it, which I don't think is fair. I mean, it's not fair that, Kofi Kingston just about beat Daniel Bryan. I mean, he really just about beat Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan's a great wrestler too. I ain't gonna say he ain't. But that's just my opinion. But, I also think the reason they're doing this is where so many people's wanting it. I also think, WrestleMania is coming up, guys. And I also think whoever wins at Fastlane, which I think it'll be Daniel Bryan, whoever wins at Fastlane, which probably Daniel Bryan, will probably go against Kofi Kingston at WrestleMania. I'd say Shane somehow, or Stephanie, which I don't think Stephanie will, but they might come together and somehow put Kofi Kingston, in the WrestleMania and somehow try to get their dad to go along with it. I don't know how they can do it, but Shane's always overruled his, tried to overrule his dad or come in and done something. But that's my opinion on that. And there's a couple more things that happened that I'd like to discuss. These guys, I want to talk about these guys. These guys has been everywhere. They started in the 90s as just like a card filler for Vince McMahon. Back in the day, he would get like lower guys that had a little potential. He would get them just to feel. I'm sorry, it's my little dog scratching his ear. But he would get people just to come in, like the Hardys, and just have the card filler. Just because, they get the match over with, have a decent match, and get to what, his main events. I'm sorry about the, let me get this off, guys. All right. But they started in the 90s. And then, they become like 7-time champs, I think, altogether. Or 6-time back in, in the 90s, I think. Well, they went to the TNA, which really, well, let's say Jeff went to TNA. Matt stayed in WWE and became version 1.0, which that was the worst version of Matt I've ever seen. Really, he didn't do good at that. But he was doing so, that was doing so bad that he actually went to TNA himself. And then TNA rebranded pretty much the way he was. He never done this, and pretty much as the broken Matt Hardy, which really, really boosted his career. I mean, that's the best Matt had ever done. So much that Vince decided to bring him back. And they, last night, Vince brought him back. And they were doing great. They showed up at WrestleMania, and everybody was really excited. They won tag team championships. Well, Vince undoubtedly decided to split them up just to be able to give Matt his single abilities to see if, because everybody wanted the broken Matt Hardy, which they call him the woken Matt Hardy on WWE. But y'all already know all that. But last night, if you didn't see it, the Hardy Boys are back, which Jeff's been back, but Matt's back and the Hardy Boys are back. They ended up beating the Bar, and I think somehow Matt and Jeff will end up going for the WWE Championship, or Matt and Jeff could be going against the NXT guys. What is his? I can't remember their names, but it's the NXT guys, the NXT Championship and the champion, and the in the United States, it's the North American champion. Yeah, those two. And I think that would be a really good match if they put them maybe at Fastlane or whatever. And then we got another thing I wanted to talk about. This guy, guys. I want to talk about him. This guy had been in the WWE for a long time. I don't think they gave him the shot that he needed. I think they kind of... And the bad thing about it is, sometimes, Vince and the WWE blame some of their character on the guy, like R-Truth. They blame it on R-Truth. And sometimes it's not all, the wrestler's fault. Sometimes the way they book the wrestler is what messes the character up. Because R-Truth is one of those guys. R-Truth is one of those guys that, he has a lot of charisma. He's really good at what he does. I think R-Truth is a great wrestler. I think he deserved the United States Championship, and that's one thing that I'm so glad that R-Truth is now the championship, or the champion. And him and Carmella actually make a pretty good team, so I hope they keep those two together and go a long ways with it. And there's another thing, I think, and y'all let me know if y'all think this should happen or not. I think they should make a tag team championship belt, but make it a mixed tag team championship. and make it to where guys can go against the girls and girls can go against the guys, because a lot of wrestling organizations already do that. Like Lucha Underground. Lucha Underground have been doing that since I can remember. So I would make it to where, sorry, I got another ad. I would make it to where they could wrestle against the guy and girls against each other, which I've already heard they're thinking about doing at WrestleMania. I've heard that what is his name? I can't even remember his name, but part of the Shield, whatever his name is, I can't remember. But one of the Shield brothers are going to be going against Nia Jax. It's the one that's married to the announcer. I can't remember his name. I don't know why I can't remember it right now, but I apologize. But I've heard they're already going to be going against each other on WrestleMania. So that's actually be pretty good. I mean, considering how big Nia Jax, she's not only a big woman, she's a tall woman, and she's a tough woman too. So I think it'll be a really good match. And that's about all I really want to talk about, guys. There's a few wrestlers I'm glad are back, like Rey Mysterio. I'm so glad he's back. And I wish WWE would start learning, from their mistakes on some of the wrestlers, because like, what was his name that had a mask? I can't remember, but some of these masked guys, I think some of the masked guys, these cruiserweights can really do good, especially the ones with the mask. I think, they're so mysterious, just like Rey Mysterio. I think it's a good, I think it's that they do so good, they're so high flyers and stuff like that. I think WWE should start going more with the high flyers and trying to, because WCW, sometimes they had, WCW went a long ways with look at some of the cruiserweights WCW had. I mean, like the late Eddie Guerrero. I mean, he was a great cruiserweight champion, and all that. He was a great. He started in WCW and ended up being one of the biggest names in WWE. Dean Malenko is another one. Dean Malenko was awesome. Chris Jericho. I mean, look what Chris Jericho's done. Chris Jericho's, man, he's been all over the world. I mean, and he started in WCW. I mean, he didn't start in WCW, but he got it. Everybody started knowing who he was in WCW. The cruiserweights can go a long ways, and I think sometimes WWE overlooks them. 205 Live could be a lot better than they make it. They just gotta, try to do a good storyline, because storylines go a long ways. And I hate to be mumbling, guys, I don't mean to. But there's one more thing I want to talk about, and I thought it was kind of dirty the way they done this. They had on Monday night Raw, not before last, they had Ric Flair's 70th birthday, and they pretty much done the storyline to where Batista ended up beating up Ric Flair in his office and pulling him out. I guess that's what he did, beat him up in the office and pulled him out of the office, to pretty much send a message to Triple H. I mean, there's other ways to do that, because it was Ric Flair's birthday. Ric Flair had been in wrestling for years, so why in the world would you mess up Ric Flair's birthday, which everybody was looking forward to? I'm not a big Ric Flair fan, but I am a fan of some of the older wrestlers. I think some of the older wrestlers are awesome, and I think you should respect the older wrestlers, the Hall of Famers, pretty much what they call them a lot. Respect them more, guys, because people like Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and I mean, you got all kinds of guys. Respect them. I mean, don't bring them back and then screw with them when you bring them back. Pardon my language, but I think I'm going to end it with this. Please remember to like and subscribe to my channel. I'm not going to do these all the time, but I'm going to start trying to, you know, I just wanted to get it off my chest and let y'all know that that I'm gonna be doing some more videos. I'm gonna try to. I think I'm gonna try to go to GTA and start doing some GTA stuff with, you know, that way y'all can watch me do some GTA stuff, and we'll try to go back to our farming a little bit. But a lot of y'all don't like the farming. I didn't get a whole lot of views with my farming, but you know, I like doing the farming, so I'm gonna keep at it anyway. You know, I do it for myself, and not only for y'all. I do it for myself and y'all. So if you like it, watch it. If you don't, you don't have to. But I am going to go back to my wrestling figures and start doing more reviews and stuff like that. So because it seems like I've done a lot more with that, and I thought about doing some, you know, starting some more Minecraft, because I know a lot of people like my Minecraft stuff. I think about going on there and, you know, like some of the where I made Little House on the Prairie and stuff like that. I'm going to start doing more stuff like that. So hopefully y'all like it. And like I said, remember to like and subscribe. Leave a comment if anything you want to see or anything you want me to talk about. And if any of my family's watching, please remember my Aunt Bonnie. You know, she passed away the other day, and my cousin Carrie and Doodlebug and Rufus and Mike, they're probably, you know, really hurt, you know, from their mother dying. So we're there for you. If you need anything, let me know. I'm on Facebook. But remember those, you know, say a prayer for some of my family to get through the hard time, you know, their mama dying. Everybody should know how you love your mama, whether you get along with your mama. You know, everybody loves their mama, whether you get along with them or not. But thanks for watching, and peace out.